In today's edition of the Red Sox Rundown by Chat Sports, we are answering questions directly from the Red Sox Rundown community. I put out a community post earlier this week saying, hey, get your questions in. I will put them on a future video, and so on and so forth. Today is that video. If you want to get in on our next mailbag, which we will be doing next week, like I said, I want to make mailbags a weekly thing during the off season because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of questions to be answered. If you want to get in on our mailbag next week, subscribe today. I will be putting out a community post every single week asking for your questions, and then I will pick the best ones and put them in a video. So if you want to get in on next week's video, if you want to get your question up like a lot of the people we have on today's video, subscribe to the channel. All right, let's start with Video Game Nation. Not a lot of graphics today. I am producing this on my own right before Game 1 of the World Series, where we are going live on our main Chat Sports channel. So bear with me on that front. Video Game Nation. If you were to be Craig Breslow right now, what are your top 5 priorities and what are you doing first? This is a fantastic question, Video Game Nation. Thank you for submitting it. So I put out a video a few weeks ago, my perfect off-season plan. It was my 5-step plan that I thought the Red Sox should do and execute on this offseason to be ready for next season. 5 points. So this actually works perfectly. My top 5 priorities. My first is retain Alex Bregman. I've made myself, everyone knows how I feel about Alex Bregman. I think he is incredibly important to the nucleus of this team. I think that you need to re-sign him first and foremost. He is one of the most important people that you're going to have to try to bring back this offseason. Number 2 is trade for Joe Ryan. Now, I'll change this in terms of like priorities. Getting a number 2 starting pitcher, whether that's Joe Ryan, Hunter Green, God forbid, Tarik Skubal gets traded, or going and signing a Dylan Cease or a Ranger Suarez, you need to get a number 2 starter. I think that is absolutely clear. You've got great depth at the bottom of your rotation, and you have your ace, but you do not have that middle of the rotation guy. So my number 2 was trade for Joe Ryan. That would be my perfect offseason, but like any number 2 starting pitcher should be a priority. Number 3 I had earlier was sign Kyle Schwarber. I still agree with this. I'd probably veer a little bit on this and go with Pete Alonso maybe. But just like point number 2, point number 3 is you need to find a power bat for your lineup, whether that be Pete Alonso, whether that be Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Tucker is now in the rumors as well. Whoever it may be, you need to find that power bat in your lineup. That is like my number 3 priority. Number 4 priority is trade an outfielder. We'll get into Jarren Duran a little bit later in this video, but just trading an outfielder in general. It doesn't have to be Jarren Duran. It can be any of them. You need to break up that outfield logjam. It's there. And whether that be in a trade for a number 2, like could you kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Maybe, maybe not, but that is something that's going to have to happen. You're going to have to break up that outfield logjam at some point this offseason. And then number 5 is offloading Masataka Yoshida's contract. He is owed quite a bit of money. He is holding up your DH spot because he doesn't really play in the outfield. He played a few games in the outfield this past season, but he's not a fielder. He's not that fast on the base paths, although he's got the perfect running form. But you've got to offload his contract because you can use that money elsewhere, and you free up a spot for somebody else. Like if you bring Kyle Schwarber, you need to get rid of Masataka Yoshida because he's not going to play. And then he's holding up a roster spot. So those are my 5. That's what I would do. But great question, Video Game Nation. Thank you so much for asking. Colin Fachuk. I think. Excuse me if I got it wrong. Trying to be delicate here. Who do you think is our... But this is a fantastic question, by the way, from Cole. Who do you think is our most valuable bullpen piece to hold on to next year besides Aroldis Chapman? I think this is a fantastic question. I also do think it's maybe a little bit obvious. It's Garrett Whitlock. Garrett Whitlock this past season was fantastic. He came in and he was absolute nails. I get it. We've got the sour taste in our mouths with how the season ended, but there were countless times where he was asked to come in with runners on and he executed. He was fantastic. I think that he is like the 1-2 of Whitlock and Chapman at the end of the season was lethal. So I think it's Garrett Whitlock. I think he's by far the most important asset that you have in the bullpen besides Aroldis Chapman. There's other names as well. I think Justin Slayton, if he can get back to his peak, is really good as well. There's plenty of people that you could talk about, but I definitely think that Garrett Whitlock is clearly the second most valuable bullpen piece that we have. You let me know. Who's the most valuable reliever not named Aroldis Chapman? I'm going to ask you the exact same question that Cole asked me. I think it's Garrett Whitlock, like I just discussed. I think a lot of people will agree with that sentiment as well, but you let me know. Name one. Who do you think is the most valuable reliever not named Aroldis Chapman? The Lego Sergeant, thank you so much for asking a question. Here we go, folks. Tarik Skubal. All right. I don't think he's going to be traded, but I will play with this scenario. Tarik Skubal for Payton Tolle, Jarren Duran, Mikey Romero, and some rando minor leaguer. Do I take? I would. I don't think Mikey Romero, at least right now, has a roadmap to make the major league team. Great prospect, great player. I think he'd have a better shot on another roster. Maybe that's Detroit. I'm not sure. Some random minor leaguer. Sure, whatever. Really, the two names we're talking about here are Payton Tolle and Jarren Duran. Those are the two names that we're talking about. So again, this all comes with a caveat, okay? This comes with a really big caveat. I do not want to give up Payton Tolle and Jarren Duran if you're not going to guarantee extending Tarik Skubal. See, the problem with a Tarik Skubal trade, it doesn't matter how good or bad the deal is, are you guaranteeing you're going to keep him on your team for more than a year? That's my biggest, kind of issue. So, if you could guarantee that you're going to be able to sign Tarik Skubal to an extension, yes, I would do this trade in a heartbeat. I would do Payton Tolle, Jarren Duran, Mikey Romero, maybe add another prospect. I would do that in a heartbeat. Only, though, if you can guarantee that Tarik Skubal will be on your team more than 1 year. I'm not going to give up Payton Tolle and Jarren Duran. Payton Tolle being a potential future closer, maybe Paul Skeens-esque starter in the future. And then Jarren Duran, who is an electrifying outfield talent. I'm not going to give that up for a rental. So I take it with a caveat if you can sign him long term. If you can't, no dice. No dice. Silent Bob Father, thank you so much for submitting a question. What would your realistic plan be if both Story and Bregman leave? If both Story and Bregman leave, you're in trouble. Now, I do want to clarify. I read this question as they both opted out and signed elsewhere. Because what I would do is I would just try to re-sign one of them. I think you have a good shot at least re-signing one of them. Okay? But I'm going to assume for, this exercise that they both sign somewhere else. My realistic plan would be Marcelo Meyer goes to third, okay? I think you've got to throw a bag at either Bo Bichette or Eugenio Suarez. You have to replace. There are no viable replacements in AAA right now. Christian Campbell, I guess you put at second base in this exercise. You move Meyer to third or keep him at short. That's still one open spot. So you would have to throw a bag at someone. And I think that the best options are Eugenio Suarez for third base and Bo Bichette for short. So realistic plan would be you're going to have to panic. I think Story opts in. All the reports we've heard of that Story, they think he's going to opt in. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm Bichette or Eugenio Suarez would be the play. And then probably Campbell at second. People aren't going to like it, but that's what we got. Romy, you'll have to platoon second again. And I just don't think we want to do that. So, yeah, not the most ideal situation in the entire world, but again, it's just theoretical. So hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't think it will. Again, I think Story will opt back in. Do you love the Red Sox? I love the Red Sox. Some people claim I don't love the Red Sox because I have a take that they don't like, but I do love the Red Sox. I live and breathe this team. This team is in my blood. If you love the Red Sox, like today's video. Show out, Red Sox Nation. I want to see how many people are watching, rocking, and loving the Boston Red Sox. Big Daddy Joe. Real quick, I do actually want to thank Big Daddy Joe because he sent me a package with a sweet throwback Ted Williams jersey. Absolutely phenomenal. Also had a really nice note in there. So Big Daddy Joe, I want to thank you for that. That was absolutely, you didn't need to do that. It means the world. Thank you so much. It was really, really cool. Okay. Who's out or in for the outfield next season? So I'm just going to rattle off what I think the outfield will be. As it stands right now, you've got 8 options, okay? Duran, Cedon, Wilyer, Roman, okay? Yostinson Garcia, Christian Campbell. If you re-sign Rob Refsnyder, I'm forgetting one other. I said Campbell, Yostinson, Garcia, Campbell, Yostinson, Refsnyder, and then the 4. So that's 7 right there. There's one other that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But, and Massa, that's 8. 8 options, okay? So what I think will happen is you re-sign Ref. I think he's very valuable. I think that you offload Massa in some way, shape, or form. So that's 2, okay? I think you trade Yostinson Garcia in some sort of trade. I think he is a very valuable trade chip, okay? Campbell, I think, is a platoon utility / DH on the Major League roster next year. Because he can play in the outfield, he can play in the infield, he can also, you can put him at DH as well. So that's 4, okay? So that's the backup 4, okay? Now you've got the main 4. I think the starting infield next year will be Roman in left, Cedon in center, Wilyer in right. I think Duran gets traded. I think that's what happens. So that's how I think it pans out. I gave you the 8 outfield options and what I think happens with all of them. Massa is offloaded. Yostinson's traded. Duran's traded. Campbell is a utility role. There's a bunch of them. You guys heard what I said. You know what I'm talking about. So that's what I think happens. It's going to be very interesting to see. And it could flip. Duran could stay, and Abreu gets traded if that's what it takes to get a Joe Ryan or somebody. Like, that could happen as well. There's a world where that is a thing. So, like I said, I'm very, very interested to see how this offseason goes. So I think there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, and that's why you subscribe. Don't miss out on that. Duran Lovers 77. Why do you hate Jarren Duran so much? You constantly talk about him being traded. Explain! So I get comments like this all the time. On Twitter, on Instagram, in the YouTube comments. I don't know why me talking about him potentially being traded means I hate him. Can someone answer that for me? Because I love Jarren Duran. I've said that on multiple videos. I met Jarren Duran at On-Field Photo Day in the summer. My mom and I met him. He was fantastic. He is my current favorite player on the team. I've said that numerous times. When the when the City Connect jerseys were announced, I bought his City Connect jersey. I'm not going to spend $100+ on a jersey of a player I don't like. Like, be real right now. If you're looking at the 4 outfielders, Duran just makes the most sense. His value's high. He's a little bit older. He doesn't have, I think, as high of a ceiling as maybe an Abreu has or a Roman has. And he doesn't have the defensive acumen of any of the other three. He doesn't. We all have to be honest with ourselves. He was the worst defensive outfielder on the team this year. We have to be honest with ourselves. So I'm not saying they should trade him because I don't like him. I'm just looking at the facts and being realistic. He's going to get you a lot. He has a lot of value. A lot of teams would love to trade for him. If he is what it takes to lock down a number 2, you do it. You've got to break up this outfield logjam. And I think if I am Craig Breslow, like based on all the reports, they love Cedon. He's not going anywhere. They love Willier. They love his Gold Glove in right and his offensive ceiling. And then Roman Anthony's going to be the face of your franchise. So I'm sorry. Duran is just the odd man out. That breaks my heart. It does. I love the guy. I think everything he's been through is inspirational. You know, being able to open up about his mental health on the Netflix documentary was incredible. I'm just saying, if you're looking at the 4, he's the one that makes the most sense. Doesn't mean I hate him. So, like, these comments make me mad because, like, I ask my mom, ask my dad, ask my sister, ask anyone, ask my girlfriend. I freaking love Jarren Duran. I don't want him to be traded, but I'm also mentally preparing myself that he probably will be. And I think everyone else should prepare themselves as well. You predict it for me. Let's give me my last question on today's video. Will Jarren Duran get traded this offseason? Type Y for yes if you think he will. Type N for no if you think he will not. I want to hear your thoughts. Be nice. I just told you guys, this is nothing personal with Jarren Duran. I like the guy. I got no problem with the guy. But I'm also like trying to piece together this roster like the GM would. So you let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Will Jarren Duran be traded this offseason? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We're going to have another video tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Also, tonight, we're going to be live for Game 2 of the World Series. Do not miss that on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. So join us over there if you have not already. And until next time, go Sox.